Kick back and relax while I give you the straight dope on the best of cinema. Today's review is of The Woman in Cabin 10 from 2025. The Woman in Cabin 10, directed by Simon Stone, is a film that sails into the murky waters of psychological thrillers and maritime mysteries. Adapted from Ruth Ware's 2016 novel, the movie attempts to blend elements of a Hitchcockian thriller with a modern psychological drama. However, it struggles to find its footing, leaving audiences with a film that drifts between genres without fully committing to either. The story follows Laura Lowe Blacklock, played by Keira Knightley, an investigative journalist recovering from a traumatic break-in. She is assigned to cover the maiden voyage of the Aurora Borealis, a luxury superyacht owned by wealthy socialites Richard, played by Guy Pearce, and Anne Bulmer. The setup is promising, with an isolated location and a protagonist whose grip on reality is questionable. However, the film fails to capitalize on this potential, as it becomes bogged down in repetitive beats of disbelief and gaslighting. Keira Knightley delivers a strong performance as Lowe, capturing the emotional residue of trauma with nuance and restraint. Her portrayal is the film's most steadfast element, grounding the story with emotional honesty. Guy Pearce, as the enigmatic Richard Bulmer, brings a silky menace to his role, while Gugu Mbatha Raw and David Ajala provide solid support. Unfortunately, several talented actors, including Kaya Scodelario and Hannah Waddingham, are underutilized, their characters orbiting the central mystery without feeling integral to it. Visually, the film is a feast for the eyes. Cinematographer Ben Davis captures the eerie opulence of the Aurora Borealis with gleaming whites, cold blues, and flickering shadows that evoke a sense of claustrophobia and disorientation. The sound design complements this atmosphere, with distant waves and mechanical creaks suggesting menace just out of sight. However, the film's aesthetic strengths cannot compensate for its narrative shortcomings. The screenplay, penned by Joe Shrapnel and Anna Waterhouse, handles themes of trauma and disbelief too literally, spelling out ideas that would be more powerful left ambiguous. The film's pacing is uneven, with a promising first act that quickly stagnates, caught in a loop of suspicion without escalation. The third act attempts to inject urgency, but feels rushed, leaving little time to absorb the emotional or psychological consequences of Lowe's ordeal. Ultimately, The Woman in Cabin 10 is a handsomely mounted but emotionally muted thriller. It presents a setting rich with social and psychological potential, but fails to interrogate it deeply enough. While it is passable entertainment, it lacks the suspense and thematic depth needed to leave a lasting impression. Keira Knightley's performance elevates the material, but the film's potential remains largely untapped, making it a journey that promised danger and discovery but returned safely and blandly to port. That wraps up my review of The Woman in Cabin 10, and I'm giving it 2.5 stars out of a possible 5. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed what you've heard, please like, subscribe, and it will be great to see you next time at Mindset Movie Reviews.